All right, here are our third set of notes for what we will be doing. So the other two were two-step equations. These are going to be called multi-step equations, usually just 3 steps. If you did the one last week where you multiplied through first, that's actually going to be the same thing as what we're going to do today. So just a review of some of the first ones we solved. This first one, 5 minus 3x equals negative 10. We need to get rid of the 5 first. It's positive. Again, this minus sign goes with the 3x. So to get rid of a positive 5, I need to subtract 5 to get rid of it. Subtract 5 on this side. Make sure you bring down negative 3x. That minus sign needs to come along as a negative 3x equals negative 10 minus 5 gives us negative 15. Again, some of us are still making the mistake where we add 3. Remember, this is multiplication. So to undo multiplication, we divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. Negative 15 divided by negative 3 is positive 5. So we believe our answer should be x equals positive 5. You'll want to check all your answers. Again, you should know all of your answers are right or wrong because you can check your answers. So 5 minus 3 times 5, at 5 we got for x, and we get negative 10, so we did that one correctly. Number 2, n over 4 plus 3 equals negative 7. First we need to get rid of the 3. Subtract 3, subtract 3. N over 4 equals negative 7 minus 3 is negative 10. This is divide by 4, so to undo divide by 4, I need to multiply both sides by 4, multiply by 4, and equals negative 40 is what we think our answer should be. So to check that, I need to do negative 40 divided by 4 plus 3, and I do get negative 7. The other review is just to distribute. So some of us did that last week when we multiplied through anyway. So distribute, remember this means multiplication. You need to multiply this by 6 and this by 6. So 6 times 3 is 18, and then the x comes with it. 6 times 5 is 30. Again, it's a minus sign because you're multiplying 6 times negative 5 if you want to think of it that way. Okay? As long as this number is positive, your signs are going to stay the same. This is where it gets a little bit tricky because you have a negative sign that you're distributing. So negative 3 times positive 4 is negative 12x. When you do this one, you want to think negative 3 times negative 7 is positive 21. So negative 12x plus 21. So if there's a negative sign outside, these two both need to change. So this was positive, it became negative. This was a minus sign, it becomes a plus sign. That's going to be the first step. Distributing is going to be the first step in the problems that we do today. All right. So here's the steps. Distribute, which means to multiply each term in the parentheses, what we just did, by the term that, or by the number that's outside the parentheses. And then it will look, once you distribute, it will look just like one of these equations right up here. So then you'll add or subtract and then multiply or divide. So this first one, 3 times 4x plus 2. 3 times 4x is 12x. 3 times 2 is 6. So 12x plus 6 equals 30. Again, after that, it's completely what we did before. So minus 6 minus 6. Those two go away. 12x equals 30 minus 6 is 24. This is multiplication, so I need to divide by 12. Divide by 12. X equals 2. Now, when you check your answer, you do want to plug it into the original equation. Just in case something went wrong in that step, you always want to go back to the original equation to make sure you did it correctly. So 3 parentheses, 4 times 2 is what we think we got, plus 2 parentheses does equal 30. Number 2, multiply by 6, multiply by 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 2x is minus 12x. Since there's a minus sign in there and I'm multiplying by a positive, it stays minus. Equals negative 30. Again, we need to get rid of the 18. We ignore this sign right now. This is a positive 18, so I need to subtract 18 to get rid of it. Subtract 18. Negative 12x. Make sure you bring the negative sign down. Negative 30 minus 18 gives us negative 48. This is multiplication, so I need to divide by negative 12, divide by negative 12. That should give us positive 4. Negative 48 divided by negative 12 is positive 4. So again, to check, you want to use your original equation, 6 parentheses, 3 minus 2 times, our answer was 4 for x, equals negative 30. So we did that one correctly. All right. 3 and 4 are the same. It's just the trickier part is that you have a negative that you need to distribute through. So you gotta be really careful with this. Negative 4 times positive 2 is negative 8x. Negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12, so plus 12. If this is a negative and this is a minus, it changes it to a plus. Equals 36. Again, once you get past that first step, we've done a bunch of these already, so hopefully they're kind of second nature to you. To get rid of plus 12, I subtract 12. Those go away. Negative 8x equals 36 minus 12 is 24. Again, some of us are wanting to add 8. This is negative 8 times x, so to undo multiplication, we divide by negative 8. Divide by negative 8. X equals negative 3. For our answer. Okay, so again, the original problem, negative 4, and you're going to want to end that parenthesis if your parenthesis shows up like mine does. Parenthesis 2 times negative 3 minus 3. I know that's really crazy with all of those parentheses in there, but with the phone, anytime you have a negative, you put a parenthesis around it. That does equal 36. Last one. Distribute negative 15x when we multiply. Negative 5 times positive 4 ends up being negative 20, so you write a minus sign. Okay, again, this was negative, this was positive, so it becomes a negative, so we write minus 20. Equals 10. We need to get rid of minus 20, so plus 20 to both sides. Those go away. Negative 15x equals 30. Divide by negative 15, divide by negative 15, x equals negative 2 is what we get for our answer. To check, negative 5 parenthesis, and then another parenthesis, 3 times negative 2, another parenthesis to cover that up, plus 4 parenthesis does equal 10. So we did that correctly. Now I do want to show one other thing. Some of you maybe noticed this anyway. I'll just go ahead and do this one right here. Remember, this is multiplication. Negative 5 times this whole thing equals 10. What you can do is you can actually divide by negative 5 to start the problem. 3x plus 4 equals negative 2. So instead of distributing, you can actually divide both sides by whatever is being multiplied on the outside. We don't normally teach it that way because let's say this was a 12, then you would end up with a fraction and that just would not be very fun to solve. Also, what we're going to do for our next set of notes, in 2 times, you're going to distribute and combine like terms, so then you can't do the division right away. So a lot of times we don't even teach it, but I just wanted to see that to show you in case some of you were kind of noticing that, is that you can actually divide first if your problem looks like this. So then I would subtract 4, 3x equals negative 6, divide, and I still get x equals negative 2. Okay, so if you feel comfortable doing that, that's great. If not, just totally ignore it, and that is completely fine. You can always distribute first, and it will work every time.